What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? What's going on? It's your man, Johnny Hawkins, aka the Vibe Master, coming at you guys one more again to discuss very quickly or briefly the topic of psychotherapy and professional counseling and the benefits that are afforded anyone, any person that takes advantage of that. It's a good thing. Like any other form of therapy, this one falls under the category of social science and or science, no different than medicine, okay? Then just think of it, something else that's beneficial for us and that's needed by us for us to be better, okay? Psychotherapy, to me, is good. We're going to start there, and then we're going to get right into it. What's the definition of therapy? I'm going to my resources because what I don't want is someone saying that I'm trying to be something that I'm not. I'm not a psychotherapist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist, okay? What's the difference? Psychotherapy or psychologists are not medical doctors. They don't have MDs. They have master's degrees, clinical studies, etc., and they talk to persons that need help dealing with emotions or mental health challenges or any other challenges that are causing a disruption in their everyday life and living with it because they're feeling a certain way or not feeling a certain way mentally, and so they're not coping well. That's what a psychotherapist is. A psychiatrist is a medical doctor who goes to medical school and then specializes in psychiatry or the science of psychology and treating people with mental health challenges, and they are the only persons that can diagnose the individual. They're the only ones that diagnose, and they're the only ones allowed by law to what? Prescribe medications for the person that's suffering from a mental health challenge. So we're talking about therapy. I've told you the two primary professionals that deal with persons that are having psychological issues, the psychotherapist and the psychiatrist. And now we're just going to talk about what psychotherapy is. It reads right here in the Britannica that psychotherapy, also called counseling, is any form of treatment for the psychological, emotional, or behavioral disorders in which a trained person, very important, trained person, establishes a relationship with one or several patients for the purpose of modifying or removing existing symptoms and promoting personality growth. Psychotropic medications may be used as adjuncts to treatment, but the healing influence in psychotherapy is produced primarily by the words and actions of the therapist and the patient's responses to them, which in combination are meant to create a safe, intimate, and emotionally meaningful relationship for the open discussion and resolution of the patient's concerns. Man, a lot of words in there. But what I got out of there is what? Intimate, emotionally meaningful, professionally trained person that will talk to the person that is having certain challenges, okay? Psychological, emotional, or behavioral disorders in nature. My problem, sisters and brothers, is why is it that we as a people have all along felt it taboo to seek out professional help when we're having mental health challenges? Man, we've done each other a disservice in doing that. I can guarantee that most people watching this video who take the time to watch this will be able to raise their hands and affirm that they know somebody, either in their family or in their friends group, that have at one point or another had mental health challenges or substance abuse issues. And a psychotherapist can deal with both of those. For persons in the community presently who was like my son, who we lost just recently in 2022, who was dual diagnosed What's dual diagnosis has two parts. My son, Jonathan, who we lost in January 2022 at the tender age of 32, was diagnosed on the mental health side with bipolar type 1, anxiety, major depression, obsessive compulsive disorder. Okay? Those were his diagnoses on the mental health side. But then on the substance abuse side, because that's what a dual diagnosis is, he had more than one component that was affecting him. He was a person that resorted, like a lot of people do, in self-medicating, and so he was an alcoholic. Now, my son was an admitted alcoholic. He didn't like to drink, but because of his addiction and his addictive personality, he resorted to drinking. And because of the neighborhood that he grew up in and the people that he hung around with, and me being maybe the father that he had, not because I was against psychotherapy, but because of the friends primarily that he hung out with, and his desire, his desperate desire to be viewed as normal, he did not want to be viewed or seen as a person that required psychotherapy. He didn't want that stigma placed on him, if you will. No, it's my dad, and he's this, he's that, and this way he comes from, and I love the hood, and I love the goons, and this and this and that. I'm good. I'll be all right. I got God on my side. What he failed to realize, as so many in the African American community fail to realize, is God gives you help. He gives you a plethora of help from a variety of resources. Parents, pastors, counselors, friends, family, psychotherapists, medical doctors, financial accountants, lawyers. You see what I'm saying? It's part of a team. It takes that sometimes for us to get through things in our lives, depending on where we are. And my son didn't want to accept the fact, based on all that he was going through, that he needed more persons on his team. My son tried to make me his therapist because he trusted me with everything. But guess what? I wasn't a trained professional in psychotherapy. So I did the best I could, but I had every opportunity that I had, begged him, implored him, just seriously, go get help from a specialist, a psychotherapist. He tried, but he couldn't get that necessary comfort, right? He couldn't develop that intimate relationship with the specialist that would then have afforded him a better rate of recovery, because he would have been talking to a specialist who knew how to help him deal with his triggers and help build in him better coping skills and coping management skills when things triggered him. He couldn't do it for all the reasons that I said. For me personally, I believe in psychotherapy. I think it's a great thing. I think, to me personally, it's one of the best things since sliced bread, to be honest with you, because I know we're all facing and do face at times certain emotional, levels of distress. I have. Dealing with my son was very emotional, very traumatic for me, both when he was alive and battling his dual diagnosis and me trying to help him, and especially when he died. So I attend therapy often. I do, and I'm not ashamed of it. And yes, I came from a time where it was really taboo to even think about saying that you needed help emotionally. They would call you crazy and just write you off. Don't mess with that fool, he crazy. We did each other a disservice, y'all. So we need to get out of labeling and start talking about helping, and start accepting the fact that some of our people, quite a few of them, need psychotherapy and could benefit from that. My son could have, and look where he's at now. He's deceased. He didn't take full advantage of it. no matter how much I tried to encourage it. He didn't, because of all that he thought about it, based on what everyone else was saying, and based on his inability to become comfortable with it. We should encourage psychotherapy to all persons in our immediate circle and in our environment, especially our family and friends and loved ones. Encourage that they get the help that they need. Encourage and suggest and recommend professional counseling. Let's destroy or devour this self-imposed idea that psychotherapy and the need of that means that you're weak. That's bull crap. It means you're smart enough and care enough for yourself that you think that you need it. We all need help. Some of us more than others, depending on what we're dealing with. I've needed help, and I've gotten the help that I've needed. Psychotherapy for me has saved my life. It's one of the best investments I think a person can make. One of the best, because it says that you care enough about your mental and your emotional that you will seek out the help of a professional. Do that for yourself. Do that for your loved one. Encourage them. Don't discourage them. And don't say to your loved one, you got Jesus. God will take care of it. You don't need no therapist. That's should be a crime. It's a damn shame, because God gives us therapists like he gives us medical doctors and good family. We need them. They're a part of God's plan for better health. So if you love your loved one like you say you do, and like I know you do, the next time you see something that's not quite right, and you know your child, your mother, your father, your brother, your cousins, your uncle, they need some special attention because they're going through an emotional trauma or crises, or they seem extremely depressed, help them by suggesting that they seek a professional counselor, that they get help. Do that. Do a solid for your loved one and help them get the help they need to help themselves more with good psychotherapy. I'm your man, Johnny Hawkins. I support and encourage and endorse good professional counseling in the field of psychotherapy. I am a beneficiary of that. I wouldn't be where I am today without it. It's made me a better person. And I want all my people to know that. I raise my hand and say yes to psychotherapy and good counseling. It's your boy for now. Hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Live to love and love to live. But take care of yourself all the way around, from the rooty to the tooty, starting right here in your mind. Peace, love. That's all I got for you. Until next time, be well. And remember, I wish you better. That's what all this is about. I wish you better. All right, beloved. Do what you got to do. Take care. I'm out.